To the UK now, where authorities reported more than 72,000 cases of COVID-19 on Saturday and 296 more deaths. Cases have gone down slightly over the last 7 days, while fatalities are also down 3.2% in that same week. This comes one day after the government scrapped the vast majority of restrictions to stem the spread of the virus, and at time of harsh criticism and deep divisions within the government. France 24's Benedicte Paviot joins us now from London for more on that story. Benedicte, hi there. Now, these seem to be quite reassuring figures when it comes to COVID, a significant dip considering the Omicron spike. How's that news been received in the UK? Is this the light at the end of the tunnel?
Well, I think because of the political woes, frankly speaking, although COVID and the Omicron wave, of course, has affected people up and down the country so badly, that's why they're so shocked about lockdown breaches, which we'll come on to. The dip of about 3% this afternoon, when you look at the UK figures just released in the last few hours, 72,727 daily COVID cases and 296 deaths. It's respectively just over 3% dip for both of those. So in that sense, it's good news. A week ago, there were 80,000 recorded new cases just last Saturday. But frankly, the government, Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister, the Health Secretary, Sajid Javid, all say we're in a very different place. And that's why the country can open up. And that's why restrictions have been lifted, because we've got some vaccinations. There's been this huge successful rollout of vaccines, and there are new drug treatments to help prevent severe illness and death. So, yes, it is hoped that the light is at the end of the tunnel.
Indeed, as you mentioned, Benedicte, this comes amid a political scandal that's been dubbed partygate. That is, investigations into a series of gatherings at 10 Downing Street while coronavirus restrictions were still in place. Boris Johnson has come in for criticism for his behaviour from many different quarters. But how safe is his political future looking?
Well, that is the completely unknown question. We've had 2 months of daily drip, drip, drip allegations against the Prime Minister, taking part in certain gatherings, work events they've been described as, parties when the rest of the country was in lockdown, and this when people couldn't go and to their dying relatives in hospital and say goodbye to them. So there is that anger that continues. But of course, it looks like Boris Johnson has bought himself some time. We've had the announcement earlier this week of the criminal investigation by the Metropolitan Police of breaches, alleged breaches during lockdown with these parties in Downing Street and across government. So there has been big criticism of the police and them being so late to wade into and announce an investigation. But today, really, it's about senior Tories who are joining opposition MPs and who really want this report to be published in full. And that's the big fear. The fear is that because the police told Sue Gray, the top senior civil servant who has been charged with writing this report, whose name is now internationally famous, Sue Gray, where is this report? Why is it not yet delivered to Downing Street? Why is it not yet published? Could it be published in the next 24 hours? Could it be then published, and could we have a statement, as he's promised, from Boris Johnson in Parliament on Monday? A lot of questions, not many answers. And the fact that the police asked Sue Gray to try and avoid minimize in her report any concentration and detail of what they're investigating, and we don't know which parties those are. There are about 13 at last count breaches, we think, with these lockdown parties. So the big fear is it's going to be watered down. It's already delayed. What's going on? Meanwhile, of course, the Prime Minister wants us all to concentrate on the fact that he made a statement to the House about Ukraine, that he's going to be going certainly in Eastern Europe this week, that he's going to be calling President Putin. But what is very, very interesting is that we've just had a senior Conservative MP, Tom Tugendhat, who's become the first MP to break cover, to publicly say that he would consider running to be Tory leader if a leadership contest was to be triggered. Now, that would take 54 letters from Conservative MPs to a parliamentary backbench committee to trigger a no confidence vote. And many MPs, Tory MPs, are waiting for the publication of this report to decide whether or not they're going to send a letter. So many questions, so much delay, so many unknowns. For the moment, it seems that some of the heat is off Boris Johnson, and that angers certainly the opposition, Labour Party, the Scottish National Party, the Liberal Democrats, who say that actually government is paralysed, that this Prime Minister is no longer doing his job. He's no longer able to govern because there are so many unanswered questions, and because the energy and the attention and the focus of this government is so much on surviving. So we wait for the publication of the report. As soon as it's published, we'll be analysing it and we'll be bringing it to you.
We will indeed. Thank you very much for that update from London. That's Benedicte Paviot, France 24's correspondent, speaking to us there.